Hello and welcome again. I'll start waiting to see people joining our Instagram live. So welcome again, friends. It's Friday again. So that's the beautiful thing that I get to do this on Fridays so you can practice your cooking skills on the weekend. So welcome again, everybody. I'm very excited to make one of my favorite Mexican dishes today, which is the enchiladas, and of course, my version of homemade guacamole. So thank you for joining again. Hi everyone. Awesome. So let's get started. Thank you so much for joining again. And it's gonna be a fun cooking class, hoping for you. Okay, so we're gonna start off by making the salsa verde. It's a staple in Mexican cookery, which is super simple and delicious to make at home. So I encourage you to try it. The tomatillo can be a bit, what is it called? Interesting when you purchase it in the store. But don't be intimidated. It's very simple. It has a little husk here. So I'm going to teach you the easiest and fastest way to take the husk out of the tomatillos. So I purchased this at the store with the husk. Some stores carry it without it, which is fine too. Just make sure you wash them well. So the fastest trick to take care of the husk of the tomatillo there is by soaking them in lukewarm water, or warm or hot, whatever you can take, and literally water gets inside the little husk in the pocket, so it makes it super easy to remove. So what I do is I peel back the husk itself like this, and then just twist it a little bit so it comes right off. So I repeat the process with all of my bag. So you can do it also with a little bit of soapy water and take care of the excess once you're done. So again, so you peel back the husks and then grab it firmly and give it a little twist and it comes right off. So I already have some peeled tomatillos over here to make it more practical and faster. So we're gonna throw this in the pot here. I have the water like in low, just waiting for you guys to start cooking our tomatillos. So one of them came damaged, and it had like a little bit of, because corn, like the tomatillo grows in a vine, so sometimes they can have like little bugs or fungus that develops around the core. So you can always chop that off and the rest of the tomatillo would be fine. So it's okay to do that too. So in this one, for example, I just cut off that part that was nasty. So then you put it all into your pot. So we have it here. And to our pot, we're gonna add some onion and some garlic. So again, for the garlic, the easiest way to peel, if you don't need it to be a beautiful shape, what you can do is put your knife over your garlic and gently press, or firmly pressed, better said. The skin cracks and it comes right off. So no hustle on those, and we can just add it to our tomatillos over here. And up next, we're gonna go onto the onion, and I'll teach you again how to properly cut an onion. Again, here's our onion, and so always remember to cut head to tail. That's the best way to keep your onion stable, and it's the easiest way to cut it. So we're gonna use 1/4 of an onion. This is about 1.5 pounds of tomatillos here. I'm gonna increase the heat here so it starts boiling. So as you can tell, the color of the tomatillo is super bright. So once the tomatillo that starts boiling, as soon as it turns color, that's when we want to turn it off. So I'm gonna cut my onion head to tail, and we're gonna save the other half to use for our guacamole over here. And again, I'm gonna use a fourth of it. So head to tail, and to throw it in the tomatillo sauce, I'm gonna just cut the both ends of it and peel back the papery pieces that we don't want in our sauce. It's gonna go great. Please join, like, if you have any questions so far, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll try my best to look at the comments underneath. So what I did, I just cut like thick julienne, because it's all gonna get blended, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna add it to my, you can break it down a little bit, add it to our tomatillos here while they start to boil. And I'm also going to add serrano peppers, cumin. So cumin is, I feel it is in a lot of Mexican dishes, but for whatever reason, when I moved to the States, I found out that the Mexican places here, I feel cumin is overused. So not for salsa verde. So you can leave the cumin out. Typically, cumin goes in like dishes that have like more dried peppers, like the another like the all the like guajillo and pasillo sauces that are out there have like dry spices. So I'm gonna add serrano pepper to my salsa verde. If you like spicy and you wanna do it with habanero or jalapeno, it's just for depth of flavor. So before our water starts boiling, a tip that I have for you is that baking soda helps for the tomatillos not to become bitter, because sometimes when you make salsa verde, the tomatillo salsa becomes kind of like bitter. So baking soda prevents that bitterness. So go ahead and splash some baking, or I don't know if splash is the right word, but add some baking soda to your pan and give it a little swirl, and we'll wait for those guys to start cooking. Meanwhile, I have over here, I shredded chicken from Sprinkle. Thank you. So Sprinkle baking soda. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying this. Yeah, it's all about the tips and tricks in the kitchen. So I'm very happy to be teaching you or sharing with you things that are helpful. Okay, so we bought a roasted chicken from our last Costco run, and I had it already shredded. I shredded it and actually refrigerated the carcass because I wanted to teach you another trick. So once you pull all the meat from your rotisserie chicken, it's amazing that you can make, I don't know if you can see back here, I'll show you. La la la. I am boiling down the chicken carcass over here. The water was like up to here. So I've been simmering it for probably about an hour now, which is quite ready. So I'm just gonna turn it off. And this is amazing broth, like all the nutrients from the bones keep coming out. So never discard your carcass. I feel that it's something that people do in Thanksgiving time, that they boil the carcass to make turkey soup the next day. So you can also do it with your chicken carcass. So so that's cool. For tofu, yes. So enchiladas are different in every part of the country in Mexico. So it's a type of dish that every person has like a different style on how they make their enchiladas. So feel free, again, and as I've been saying every Friday, to substitute for whatever your preferences are. So if you prefer to make it with a red sauce, or you don't have tomatillos available, or you don't really like this flavor of tomatillo, please feel free to substitute with anything you have at home. So if you happen to be vegan, you can add mushroom, like roasted mushroom, roasted veggies, like crumbled tofu. So as we keep cooking, I'll add more comments about it, but always feel free. So salsa verde is completely vegan, so you can adjust to whatever your preferences are. That's the beauty of learning to do new sweet potato. Yes, there you go. So you can use sweet potato to stuff your enchiladas as well. Okay, friends, so I'm gonna give a little swirl to our tomatillos. As you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm gonna bring you closer to here so you can see. Grab a spoon so I don't burn myself. The color is already starting to change on the smaller pieces. I don't know if you can, there. So the color becomes like dull and matte. So that's what we're looking for. As soon as most of them are changing color, we're gonna drain this and we're gonna put it in our blender. So as you can see, it goes by really fast. So be attentive to your tomatillos, and that does the trick. So baking soda and the right cooking time. So you don't really have to boil like the hell out of the tomatillos, because you don't really need to. And it also changes the flavor a lot. So I like my salsa verde to be very fresh and as close as possible. And you can even make raw tomatillo salsa, which is amazing with cubed avocado, and I love it. So try it at home. That was gonna be one of the items for tostadas, but now we have this. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the heat here, and I'm gonna drain it over here in my sink and pour the tomatillos in the blender. Woo! Any questions so far? I'll try to answer as much as I can. Okay, so you drain the whole water out of the pot, and I left my blender handy over here by the sink, so I wouldn't be splashing all over the kitchen. So here we have our serrano peppers, our cooked onion, and the tomatillos. I'm gonna add here about like half a bunch of the cilantro. So cilantro can be eaten completely. Some people are like, no, take off the stems. Cilantro is one of those leafy herbs that can be eaten entirely. So what I do is just take off the end part that is like dry and maybe dirty. So just you can add the whole thing to your blender, and we're gonna add about a teaspoon of salt in here. Okay, I'm gonna bring it over here. So we blend it. So it will start picking up. I don't know if you can see from afar, but I don't need to add water here. As long as you start cranking up your blender, it'll pick up all of the tomatillos and even the cilantro that's on the top. So there it goes. There, for about 30 seconds. And voila! Beautiful tomatillo, bright green salsa. Maybe different from the salsa you see at Mexican restaurants. That's more dull and like cooked over, which is fine. I'm not saying it's not tasty, but I really like it when it's fresh like this. So one of two ways, if you're looking to make enchiladas to save for later, then I would suggest you cool down the sauce or salsa verde and add it to your chicken. So my trick here, when I make chicken enchiladas, I'm gonna actually start warming up the tortillas. Hi friends. I won't, I'll try my best. So I have my pan here ready to start working on tortillas. I have my pan on medium. We need a light warm up on those to start rolling them up for our dish. So the way I make enchiladas is once I have my shredded chicken or veggies or whatever you choose to stuff your enchiladas with, I pour for like about 1/3 of our salsa verde and mix it up. So there's nothing else here but the flavor of the sauce, of the salsa. So I give it a good little swirl. I'm a very saucy person, so I like sauce in the bottom, on the top, in the middle. So this is the way I like my enchiladas, which is also very flavorful. Sometimes chicken is a little dry. So adding the salsa verde to your chicken, it actually looks a little too dry. So I will add, hi Andrea! Oh, that's awesome. She's joining from Italy or Germany. I don't know where you're at right now, but I hope you're staying safe. So I added a little more salsa to the chicken. So we have that ready to go. Alrighty, I'll keep my blender here close because we're gonna roll up some enchiladas. Okay, so now I have my tortillas are slightly warm. You don't want them to get toasted or anything like that. So make sure they're warm so they're softer to deal with. So I'm gonna throw a couple more out there so we can finish our little dish. So I just had this mini tortillas that I bought, which it's honestly whatever you have available at home or at your market, that works fine. And I'm gonna just do a small dish for us today, so we're not like rolling for a half an hour. I'm gonna add some of the chicken. Can you see there? There. Better? Cool. Okay, so now that I added some chicken to the enchilada, I rolled it real tight. Oh wait, I forgot an important step. So I have my dish here where I'm gonna bake it. So it has to be a safe, oven safe container. So it's either like whatever, glass or whatever you have at home. I like to add some salsa verde to the bottom of my pan and then start rolling them up to add them to our pan. So I'm gonna leave it right here and add chicken to the next one. I'm gonna flip those ones over and roll them real tight. And you can also like make these with like soli cheese. Those are amazing too. And cool. Any questions so far? You love avocado oil over everything? Yes. It's the best. We love our avocado oil. Okay, so now we have 3 so far. We'll roll one more so we can continue on to the next. Okay. Cool. Perfect, friends. So add some chicken. Where are you guys joining us from? I want to know where you're all tuning in from. That would be amazing. We know there's Germany. I see a few of my chosen food friends here. Oh, 5-year-old, and I can't wait to make this. Yes, so this is also super kid friendly. So obviously you have to watch the temperature on the tortillas and the chicken. But it honestly is such a playful, have them roll up the enchiladas and It's a great activity to do as a family. So you can set up all the prep and let the family roll up their own enchilada. So that's awesome. Thank you for joining, Mom. Mexicali, Tucson. Awesome. Welcome, friends. Great. So I'm gonna pour some of the rest of my sauce. Maybe it's too much for this tiny little dish, but I'm gonna add more of our sauce here and spread it over with a spoon because it's still quite warm. Then I have here some mozzarella cheese. That's my choice of cheese, but of course whatever you have available at home. It's funny to me that a certain retailer out there sells the Mexican blend, which cracks me up because Mexicans, we don't use a lot of cheddar cheese in anything we make, but that's okay. We love everybody. Okay, so I pack it with some cheese, and I actually have my oven ready to go. So I'm gonna put this, I have my oven broiling, so it's gonna be, so here, I'll show you before and after. Cool. So it's gonna go in there. I have it at 475 broiler, just so it gets the cheese melty and also crusty. That's my favorite. So I'm gonna put this over here and we'll start with the homemade guacamole, friends. Any questions so far? Let me see. Lactose-free conspiration. No, this is actually normal cheese because that's what me and my family enjoy. But please feel free again to use whatever cheese you have available. Even if you have sliced cheese at home, that works too. You just layer it on top and put it into a broiler. So make sure you're paying attention to your enchiladas in the oven because they can burn fast. So I'm gonna bring over here my guacamole setup. We're gonna start again. Well, actually, we'll start with the lime. So I make guacamole with fresh lime juice, cilantro, jalapeno or serrano, whatever you prefer as more spicy. One is more spicy than the other. I honestly make very simple guacamole. I love adding pomegranate seeds at the end, but there's none available right now because they're not quite in season, and I imagine there's the supply chain is a little crazy for everybody. So that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna cut down some limes here and add it to my bowl. So this is gonna be the bowl where I'm gonna make the guacamole. I start with a lime and some salt because, as I taught you in another one of the videos, I like marinating the onion or diced onion in the lime, so it's not super pungent when you take a bite of it. So that's a trick that a lot of my friends enjoy. So I'm adding some salt here. If you like cumin and you want to add cumin to your guacamole, that's completely fine. So whatever you like, whatever flavors you prefer to use at home, that's great too. Okay, so we have back to our onion. We're gonna do very tiny small dice to our guacamole. So we'll start there. I have head to toe cut there. So we're gonna peel off. Well, I'm actually gonna cut the little hairs on the top and peel back the papery pieces of the onion over here. I have my compost bin. Thank you for the tip. Absolutely. Do you have any questions so far? If you do, please add them there at the comments and I'll try to respond as much as I can. Okay, cool. So as we've seen it before, you want to go cut the onion as you were cutting slices of the rainbow. So we're gonna put it flat in our board over here and then start cutting thin slices following the shape of the rainbow or our beautiful onion here. Cool. We could have used the other half we had available, but it's okay. You can always reutilize the diced onion in any sauteed or veggies or anything you're cooking at home. Cool. So once we cut through the rainbows, the rainbow there, or the onion, we cut parallel to our board to cut thin slices, and that will give us perfect cubes. There we go, friends. As easy as that. I hope you practice it at home. That's a lot better. Okay, so I'm gonna add about 1/4 of an onion to our lime juice here. You can use red onion, white onion, sweet onion, whatever onion you use at home. It really doesn't matter. It's just a beautiful flavor to have in the guacamole. My mom loves guacamole with pieces of cucumber, so small cubes of cucumber. So whatever rows your boat, we're here for you. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this marinating while we cut the rest of our ingredients to go in here. Okay, we're gonna move on next to the serrano or jalapeno peppers. I grabbed a couple of, or one of each, to show you how to cut the veins of the pepper so it's not super spicy. What makes the peppers spicy, or mostly, is the veins that are the white part here and the seeds. So if you are you okay using spice, then go ahead and just cut strips of the half of the jalapeno or the serrano, and then small cubes. I just personally like having small bites of everything when I make guacamole. But if you like chunkier, if you want to put tomatoes in, like I said, I love adding pomegranate here, but I just couldn't find any. So in order for you to take out the vein and the seed, you're gonna go with a small knife and cut right into there, and kind of like cut it as a U. I don't know if you follow the flesh of the pepper right there. So to separate the vein and the seeds, flip it around and do the same. So now here's the whole veiny part and the seeds. So you can get rid of the seeds if you don't enjoy them, and which is actually like a good crunch. So I'm gonna add the jalapeno here. I'm gonna cut it down in strips. So when you're grabbing your knife, the most practical way to do it, or stable way to do it, is if you put your thumb on one side of the blade and your index finger on the other side. So that keeps your knife extremely steady, so that would help you not get cut or cut off some part of your nail or finger. That we don't want that in your food. Anyway, so then you go back and cut small cubes of this. After this, I'm gonna check in our enchiladas, make sure they're not burnt. Okay, so we can add the jalapenos to the onion and lemon mixture that we have ready to go. Okay, so I left the veins and seeds on this one, and again, use whatever you have available. If you like more spicy, then you can use a habanero or whatever you prefer and like. We're down with that. Cool. Let's check on this. They're looking pretty. So they have a little bit of browning, so we're good. Once we are done with this, hopefully they'll be nice and crispy and bubbly. Like I said before, if you wanna go ahead and save the enchiladas, what you can do is like up to the process of putting cheese on top, you can cover them with plastic and foil, or whatever you have at home. And you can freeze them. You can save them in the refrigerator for a week or so, until you have, maybe not a week, frozen for about a month, and in your fridge for about, I don't know, maybe like 4-5 days tops. Okay. Some of the avocados come with a little bit of like yucky stuff in the top. Some of the varieties of avocados also have a lot of like veins. I don't know how to describe it, like leafy. They look like almost like a little root. That's okay to eat too. So, oh, that's a good tutorial too. How to cut into an avocado, which a few of my coworkers, let's say, are a little intimidated by the pit and don't know what to do. So the easiest and most safe way to cut your avocado is if you insert your knife. So we have here the little top. You insert your knife halfway through until you reach the pit, and then gently circle around the pit with your knife. Give it a small twist, and there you go, friends. And with your knife, you firmly kind of like drop it into the pit, and also comes right off. You do it on the board. Okay, maybe that's the safest way, if you press it and then turn it on the board. That is true. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'll do one more here. There we go. You twist it and it comes right off. Perfect, friends. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. Okay, so how I like take care of the avocado, which is, I find it faster, is there. I find it faster to mash is I kind of like score it inside the shell in all directions, kind of like mash it and pour it right in. So that just makes it faster. I like to eat chunky guacamole, but again, that's a personal preference. If you like it smoother, then you can go ahead and mash it for longer, which is extremely okay. That's what the beautiful thing about cooking is, that we all have our own style and we all have different takes on how we do things. So that's the beauty about cooking and sharing what we cook at home and sharing with friends too. So we all come from different places, and I love that about cooking. So again, score it and kind of like mash it in the shell, spoon it out. Yum. Do it again. Choo choo choo. Any questions so far? Delicious, yes. I hope you try it at home. This is definitely a Mexican staple, both the enchiladas and the guacamole. So thank you for joining us today and taking the time. Okay, so now that I have like my kind of mashed avocado, I give it a good swirl, incorporating the jalapenos and the onion here. After I give it a good little swirl, I'm gonna cut down some cilantro that I've washed before, and we'll call it a day with our beautiful guacamole. Awesome. So cilantro for guacamole, you can either de-leaf it, but honestly, I just create a tight little bundle of the, because I'm not bothered by the stem, because it's also edible. So just make sure you wash your herbs real well, and I do like a tight cigar almost, and cut down some of the leafy part. and give it a quick mince. Perfecto. And we'll add it to our guacamole. Give it a nice little swirl again. And make sure you try it for salt. You can always add, but never take away. So be cautious when you add salt to your food, friends. Perfecto. How does it look? I like it chunky, so I love you too. My nieces are in Mexico, so that's awesome. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's go check on our enchiladas. They should be nice and perfect by now. Wow, this is awesome, my friends. So any questions before we leave for the day? Please let me know. Okay, so I turned off my oven. Again, I'll repeat, it was 475 for about maybe like 15 or 20 minutes. So it's nice and bubbly and crusty and delicious. Whenever you serve it to your family, make sure people don't burn themselves. But that is it for today, friends. What's the best way to store the guacamole? Okay, so a trick about storing veggies. If you find it at the store where it's not refrigerated, then you bring it home and don't refrigerate it. So an example could be potatoes or garlic or avocado. Avocado is, so refrigeration stops the ripening process. So if you bought bananas or avocados, if you store them in the refrigerator, it will kind of like slow down the ripening process. So if you need an avocado for the next day or whatever, you can put it in a dark, dry place, and that would help the ripening process. So yeah, the best way to best way to store your guacamole too. So there's a few things. It already has some acid, but I actually either spray it with avocado oil, or you can also like drizzle some of the lime juice on top. But if you have the flavor where you like it, avocado oil is the best way to keep your guacamole from browning. The other thing that helps too, so if you want to make it ahead for a party and you have it in your bowl, so you clean up your bowl nicely, you spray it with oil, and you can leave the pits in there, which the pits also help to prevent oxidation, which makes it black, and which is also good to eat. So don't be scared of a little bit of browning. It's okay, it's natural. So enchiladas and guacamole. Yes, all right, friends. What did I just, I just made guacamole and enchiladas, but you'll have the live available for 24 hours. So again, thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend wherever you are. And ciao, ciao. Thank you, friends.